everybody. Another little installment of the Atwater Kent 708 restoration. It's going to be a little short one, I think. The speaker out of the 708. It's I've been cleaning things up, wiping things down, cleaning it up, trying to knock all the rust off of it and the funk. I got the speaker out of it. Out of the radio. It's a beast. The output transformers underneath here, it tested good. Back support, it's got a field coil. It's got a field coil right here for the because these are not permanent magnet speakers. It uses a field coil which derived from the power supply. It also acts, the field coil also acts as a filter choke for these things. It's not terribly bad. It's got that goldish color to it, but it's just really grimy. The speaker itself, not really bad. I've seen it's got a little crack here. I'm trying not to touch it. Let me do this safely. A little crack right here comes down from this about a nickel size hole, a little less than a nickel size hole there, and it has a little crack right there. If I quit pushing it would be alright. Then there's a couple of little marks here, and then a couple of little marks here, but otherwise I think this thing is in really good shape. This can be fixed with just a little bit of water and glue and coffee filter. Same thing here. I'll probably just patch it with a little cut of coffee filter, a little patch about the size of a dime, and just clean this all off best I can and put a little bit of glue on there, patch it on there. And then the same thing here. I might just try to patch that with just a little dab of glue over it. But I'll decide when it comes that time. Kind of doing this one thing at a time. When I come home from work every day, I'll mess with it just a little bit. But the goal today is really not much to it. This is apparently it's stainless steel. I've been saying I didn't think that chassis, the radio chassis, was pure stainless steel, but I've changed my mind. It really is. I admit I was wrong about it. It didn't look like stainless steel, but it is. I mean, I thought there was a reason why, because I saw it look like some of it was flaking off, and what led me to think that it was not true stainless steel. But apparently it is. So I stand corrected. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you people that, or you guys, that I'm no expert on this stuff. I'm opinionated, and you know what opinionated means. Anyway, speaker. I digress. Speaker is the main unit here. It looks like it's got completely serviceable. This looks like how you use this spider. And the spider is what supports the cone. I'm not going to take this off unless I have to. But if I wanted to, it looks like I could take this screw with a little backing nut on it, take that out, and then take these screws out, and I think that whole cone will come out. But I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do anything to mess this speaker up. But I will take this frame off right here. Alright, I will take this off, and I'll take the cover off of this, and very, very, very carefully. I'm not 100% sure I want to do that, but I want to clean this gunk up. The bottom of this thing is untouched because, dirt travels down. Gravity. But I want to take this off and clean it. I want to take that off and clean it. That will give me a little bit better access to the rest of this. I really don't want to disturb. I don't really want to disturb this, but I'm probably going to have to because, again, the wiring is, this actually feels pretty pliable. I don't want to mess with that if I can help it. I'll have to evaluate it. That's what we're doing here. Anyway, I'm going to take this bracket off, and try to clean this manually. I'm going to put some paper towels in here to protect the cone. I don't want to get anything on that cone. The wires are rotten. This white wire here is rotten. So I really don't know how far I want to get into this. I guess I'll just have to see. I don't want to tear this thing up. Take this cover off and I'll probably scrub it down and try to wash it. Hopefully it'll come out good. This looks like a kind of a brownish coffee colored brown. It is wrinkle coat, so hopefully we can wash it. I got to be careful and not stain it. So this area right here, from here to about right here, is dirty. The back side is fine, so if I can make this look like that, we'll be doing good. And as far as that goes, without any further ado, let me get my most important tool here. Cup of coffee, my trusty mug. This stuff. Oh, let's get to tearing up. Let's get to looking at this. I suspect my videos are probably deemed too long, too boring. And I would say, yeah, I would agree with you. But I have watched other people's videos and comparing theirs to mine. I really don't see much different in the format. There's two screws. This is a transformer. It's this type transformer. That's commonly how they do it. Most output transformers. Now this one here looks a little on the different side. I'm trying to be very gentle with it. This one, the transformer, I'll be dang. Remember I told you, learn something new every day. This transformer has no legs. This is what supports it. I'll be dang. There's no feet on this transformer. And, let's see. Oh, if I can just do this without tearing it up. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There, we've got to fix this a little bit here. Let's see. Very carefully. I'm not going to move it around much. But right here, solderable tabs on this transformer. I'll be dad burn. That means I can unhook this transformer. That is very cool. So let me figure out who the secondary is and who the primary is. The primary, this is the secondary here. So what I'm going to do, just going to mark this so I'll know. I'm just going to write a big old P on here. And I'll kind of know whether, if I know where the P for primary is, I'll know where the secondary is. I'm going to heat up my soldering iron. Let's zoom you guys back just a hair. Waiting on the soldering iron to warm up. I'm going to go ahead and unhook this. That's good news. Trying to be very careful with this because I'm pretty sure that's unobtainium. Apply just enough heat to do the job, no more. In other words, be quick about it. You got the primary taken loose. Very carefully. Bend this little sucker over. We now have the output transformer for this radio. I hope to goodness I didn't break it. This would be the secondary. See, it's solder tabs. I've never seen a transformer like that. I told you at the beginning of the episode 1 or part 1 that this is a learning experience. I'm sure some of you guys out there watching this is like, oh, well, that's all news, me. Well, like Mr. Spock said, for each and everything, it's a first time. It's the first time for me to work on an Atwater Kent. I consider it a privilege. And I like watching other people work on stuff. And I just thought, okay, well, I'm working on something. I hope you guys are joining. And anyway, secondary right here, solder tabs. I love it. You don't see that much. I don't think I've ever seen this. Not this type. You know, you've seen some other transformer with the tabs on top, so I guess it's kind of the same thing, but this is just cooler. Anyway, there's a primary. I marked it. That's the secondary. So we'll put this little dude over here out of harm's way. And we got the plug. And no, I did not make a diagram of this. That is a fail. So, in the interest of not steering somebody in the wrong direction, I'm going to just make a little note on my notes of notes. Got to have notes when you take this old stuff apart, because sometimes you can't find the information. Alright, output transformer, I'm just going to make a diagram of it here, a rough drawing. Alright, let's see. Y'all, I'm drawing a diagram of this thing. Y'all don't need to see that. So I'm going to mark that primary, I'm going to mark that secondary. And I'm going to mark the top. So I'm going to put red. And that looks like yellow. I think that's yellow. Very brittle. And then green. And let's see, what is this? Let's see. I do not know what that is. I'm just going to say solid black. Kind of weird. Okay. All right. So no wait, speaker, OT, output transformer, wiring. Yeah. Done. Now I can get to this a little better. See if I can go ahead and... Oh, it's got a humbucker in it. I was trying to figure out what this other wire was. If you can see it, let me... Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, let's go in a little more here. Well, I gotta need a little more lighting in here. Here's the green wire. Goes directly to the transformer, but there's this white wire. Goes in there. You almost can't see that, can y'all? Let's see, do I need to back up? Need to move forward? There we go. Green wire, which goes to the secondary of the output transformer. But look, here was the other wire right here that went to the other side of the secondary. It goes inside this assembly right here. Look, there's a white wire right there. That tells me there's a humbucker in here. Humbucker is just a little coil that they put in there that that is out of phase with the wiring of the field coil. And all that humbucker does is only like about two turns of wire inside there, and it loosely couples, or not loosely couples. It acts as a transformer, but it's a very low turns ratio. So you've got like, well, I don't know, I'm just going to put a number out there, 500 turns of, I think it's more than that. I don't know how many turns it is, okay? But so like 500 turns of wire in the field coil, and you only got 2 turns in the humbucker. But it induces just a small voltage in there, and all it does is counteracts any hum that might be present on the output transformer. And that's how they used to do it in the old days. Yes, I could get very technical on it, but okay. we are now safe to move about the building. Oh wait, I ain't right. We're getting closer. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. All this rotted wire on this radio is going to have to be replaced. And my goodness, that's going to be a job and a half. This is cloth covered wire, and it seems to be very pliable. I'm going to do my best. Not to disturb that wire. I think it'll be fine. Let's see, let me find a 9/16. Let's zoom you out. Turn that to where I can see it. Go wide. Let's go wide. No. Let's see. There we go. I thought that was 9/16. Bigger than that. I like a radio with big nuts. Here we go. Oh yeah, 5/8. I don't know. Let's just give it a little tug. Oh yeah, there we go. Got an acorn nut on it. 1 acorn nut. See, I don't need that anymore. And what do? Do I go any further? I don't know. If I go any further, will there be some kind of an alignment that I've got to do? Oh, this is neat. Oh, that's neat. Let's see if I can get this up here. We can see it. Can you see it? Nope, can't. Let me get y'all some light. Can you see? That little medallion right there. If you can see it, I hope you can. I apologize if you can't. I'll find out in post-production. That's a little identification mark apparently. It's got AK on top of it and 708. That tells me this speaker is 4 and that 708, which means it's probably original to this radio. And that's like a no-duh moment, but there you go. So what do we do here? I want to get rid of this rotted wiring that goes up inside here. I don't know if I should take this off. If this comes off. I'm really spooky about that. Well, okay. I really don't know, guys. What should I do? Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Let's bring open the kit of destruction. Pretty sure this ain't metric. What do you think? One complaint I have about this kit. Oh, never mind. Complaint retracted. Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. You'll see me tear up a perfectly good Atwater Kent speaker. Yes, sir, you don't see somebody tearing up a perfectly good speaker on willingly. Hopefully. Boy, I'd be dang. Got backer nuts on it. Oh boy, I'm really in dangerous territory now. Almost tore it up. Got my finger stuck in it like a dummy. I don't know what to do. I'll make a decision in a minute. Okay, put you right back. I make foolish decisions all the time. You know, I am man enough to admit that I'm not perfect, never will be. I'm sure not perfect in God's eyes. We're going to take it apart. You know, this is a learning channel. If I tear this up, I'm going to tear this up, and you guys are going to get very good education on what not to do. If you're scared to take yours apart, I'm your guy, because I'll do it, because I just don't know any better. I don't know. I may be doing the stupidest thing that a man could do with something of this nature. I don't know. I don't have a clue how this thing is put together. I don't know if I should turn that. I don't know. And I'm getting willy-nilly here with a screwdriver. Getting all excited and jumping around and doing stupid crap I probably shouldn't be doing. If it wasn't for the wiring, if it wasn't for the rotten wiring going up inside this field coil, I would not be doing this. So be it noted right now that the only reason that I'm doing this, see, just my stupid finger in there messed that up. Because a while ago when I was trying to reach that nut inside between the basket and the cone, my finger got lodged because I'm stupid. It scared me to death just then. I'm trying not to force any of this, I promise. Just trying to be very delicate with this. Again, I don't know if this comes off. I had a screw that I pulled out of the middle of it. Just change to a 3/8 and see if a 3/8 will fit that. Alright, 3/8. I'm just going to very delicately see if I can put a little pressure on this. Oh well, that just popped right off. I do not know. Is this just stuck on there? Oh my word. Am I digging myself in? Am I asking for trouble? Because honestly, I don't know how this goes apart. Oh, something else just occurred to me. Well, no, the wool's coil is down there. I was thinking. Oh. Well, I'm in it now, up to my neck. Boy. I'm going to do the unthinkable. When I pried it very lightly on the very edge of the cone, the whole cone, including the voice coil, came out just a little. I dare not move it anymore because the voice coil is still attached. Matter of fact, before I do anything else, I'm going to make a little notation right here. Just a little mark where that came from. Give me an index. Don't know exactly if I'll need it or not. By George, it's there if I need it. I'm going to attempt to take this braid off. I need to be able to reach this. Guys, I'm not telling y'all at all to do this to your speakers. Absolutely disclaimer at this point. Don't be stupid like me and take a speaker that's really good shape apart. Don't be stupid like me. I'll take it. There you are. Now you know. That needed to be pulled out anyway. It looked like it was contaminated dirt, dust. So, next thing you do with something like this, find somewhere to put this thing completely out of the way. Away from children, away from you, away from anything that might fall on it. Whatever. Get it out of the way. And I'm going to put it up here where I don't ever go. Okay. I don't think I damaged anything. I'm not sure how this works because the voice coil and the cone was attached to this. This is immovable. I don't know how it works exactly. I think apparently the voice coil, which goes in here, pulls on the outer edge of that aluminum disc you saw with all the slots in it, and that's got enough force where it pulls that disc back and forth, and it creates vibration into the cone. That must be a heck of a magnet in there. Okay, so now we can take it apart. I feel a little bit better about it. The biggest thing I believe that you got to worry about in these speakers, in any speaker, let me give me something, is this right here, this gap right here. If you can see it, this gap between the centerpiece here and the outside frame. This right here is the magnet. This here, when you have field coil, current going through the field coil, is magnetized. Outside part's not. The center part is. The coil, the voice coil, which is wrapped around the bottom of the cone, that has a change in AC voltage on it. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. My better half was calling me, giving me some orders. Alright. I was thinking about this. I had to do an errand for. I was thinking about this though. I think I'm going to be fine as far as getting this back centered, because a lot of times you pull speaker cones and voice coils apart, and if you have to recone them or whatever, you got to be very careful about getting this thing realigned. But I think this thing here is self-aligning, because that centerpiece of the spider, that silver looking aluminum piece there with all the little slots in it that was here, and I pulled that screw out of it. I believe that's self-aligning. So I think I'm good. So which means once I get this voice coil out, I'll be able to take this basket and take it inside the house or somewhere and give it a good cleaning with dishwashing liquid and all that. And I think I can get this thing pretty. So anyway, I was in the middle of taking this apart. I was actually doing this while I was talking to my wife. So There's 4 screws here. Got it loose. It is now free, but I'm not ready to pull it apart yet because I still look this over. Very scary moment because you could still damage this coil. Well, leave it to me. I'll tear up something. Just give me enough time. You can see this. It's just the bell housing. I'm going to call it bell housing. Y'all can call it what you want to. But here is the, I'm going to call it the armature. This is what goes through the field coil. See, that is nothing more than a big transformer or a big coil. But this goes through the field coil. So when the field coil has power around it, you know, the field coil acts as a filter choke. This radio uses a pi section filter, which means from the rectifier goes into a, well, how about some napcad? You want some napcad? Let's see here. Drawing with sand. Let's see. This may not be correct, but it's basically shows you the basic pi section filter. Said I was going to show you all some schematics, and I did. Anyway, this is the here. Let me pretty that up for you. Okay, it's kindergarten art time, guys. Lovely. This is the power transformer. This is the secondary of it right here. Center tap to ground. This is a plate. And this is a plate right here. This is a full wave rectifier, okay? That don't bode well with all them text messages. Anyway, this is the rectifier. It takes the AC voltage, full wave rectifies, and this is the cathode right here. So the AC here is turned into DC. It comes through the cathode right here to this first capacitor. This is an electrolytic capacitor right here. That's an 8 microfarad capacitor. That's, if you remember part 1 or part 2, where I took one of the filter caps and took it apart. That goes to one of those. It comes out of the filter cap through this field coil of that speaker, which is what I just showed you. Okay, and then comes back out to another electrolytic capacitor. That's the second 8 microfarad filter. And then this is what they call B+. This feeds high voltage to parts, you know, the rest of the radio. And this right here is called a pi filter. That's the symbol for pi. This represents, looks like pie, doesn't it? Not the kind of pie that I would eat, but that's why it's called a pi section filter. There's your cheap information for the day. Sorry about that. My wife just texted me, said they lost power in their building. Okay. So what am I left with, guys? I'm left with the bell and the armature. I'm going to call it that. How about we just call it the core? I'm sure people are screaming at me like, you dummy. So what we got now is something I need to take a picture of. Why do you take pictures? Because you're supposed to. Comes in handy when you get old and like I am and forget stuff. Alright, another little tidbit. Like, this is the field coil, okay? This is what creates the magnetism or creates a magnetic field in conjunction with this to counteract with the voice coil, the little coil inside the cone. So if you've ever taken two magnets, put south to south, and you can't push them together, you turn north to north, you can't push them together, but if you put south to north, how they'll pull together. Same thing here. This alternating current of this that's going through the comes out of the output transformer into the voice coil. It's changing amplitude and polarity back and forth depending on your voice, and that in turn, that magnetic field interacts with this magnetic field created by the DC. Now this DC, this is a DC voltage that goes through here, which means it's not alternating, changing back and forth. It's constant, steady in one direction, so the polarity is in one direction. So the magnetic field in the voice coil interacts with that and causes it to move back and forth. Okay, and that creates vibration, mechanical vibration. You're changing it from electrical vibration or electrical signal into a mechanical signal. It's really cool. Anyway, getting back to this. This is the voice coil. This is more rare than hen's teeth. And right here is the humbucker coil. Right there. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write on here black. I believe the polarity of this is super important. If you don't get the polarity right, this will not work. Let's see. We're going to say to speaker. And we're going to say OT. Output transform. That's that part. Now let's see if we can get this dude. There you go. Can you see that? Hope so. It has very few turns in it. See, I don't have my glasses on. 1, 2, 3. Around 18 turns is what that is, compared to probably 1,000 turns at least for this. Anyway, this is nothing more than magnet wire going through here. So what I'll probably just do, I'll have to decide. I could use heat shrink, you know, go back a white and black heat shrink. And that's what I'll do. I'll just go back with heat shrink on this. I'll put a layer of thin heat shrink on this, you know, black on this side, white on this side. You know, pull this out straight, try not to break it. But I'll just put a little thin coat of heat shrink on it and heat it, you know, heat it to work, you know, shrinks. And put one more on. I'll put a couple of layers on here. That way it'll be just as able to bend and all this and form fit the wire and all this. And I'll do the same thing with white for that right there. And this will be ready to roll. So I'll put that over here out of the way. Now, let's see what we got here. Very important. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to draw this. Let me see if I can find the schematic for this bad boy. If you can see it, let me see here. This is the speaker right here. Here's your field coil right here. Here's your humbucker. I'm sorry about that. I told you wrong. This is your field coil right here. This is your primary of your audio output transformer. your secondary of your audio output transformer. And then you got this little wire right here is your humbucker. And then that in turn is in series with your voice coil. So if you can see that. So what happens is the black wire, I believe, comes from the rectifier side. So the rectifier voltage comes through the first capacitor, goes in through this humbucker, comes out the humbucker. This black, can't tell what that is. It's another different color wire, but it's black something. The second wire goes back to the other side of the output side, or to the second filter capacitor out to the rest of the radio. And then this third wire here just goes to the plate tube, or it goes from the output transformer to the plate of the audio output tube. So anyway, there you go. That's how it works. And I am going to take a quick little photograph or a picture of this. It's got the same thing, little solder tabs on the side. And I don't know what color that is. It looks like blue, but I can't be sure. I'm going to attempt, it's either blue or black. Let me see if I can, looks like black. Yep. Alcohol pad. So this is black. This looks like white and black. That's what I'm going to call it. And this is red. So I got a black and I got a white and black right there. So we'll just write it down there. Black. And then white, black. Alright, and you got another one here, which is yellow. And that yellow goes to the output transformer. You got to send B plus or power supply voltage, from the filter. This is where it gets its power to go through the output transformer. So it goes into, let's see, this is your voltage feeding the output transformer. That voltage right there will go into the input, or one side of the output transformer primary, comes out the primary, the other side of the primary, and go to the output tube. There you go. So, let's see, I'm going to attempt to undo all this. Now, one thing you can do with this some of this wiring, if it's not too bad, is you can tack it with a heat gun and it'll soften it up. They twisted these wires on. There we go. That old rotten yellow wire. There. I still haven't procured source. I'm going to try to save that. These wires, they're a little stiff, but I may apply the heat gun to them gradually and heat them up, see if I can get them pliable. I don't know. I really don't want to replace that because I can't duplicate this cloth. I want to save that if at all possible. So I'm going to making a command decision to keep this. Once I get this done and leave it in place and don't screw with it, I think it'll be fine. Look at there. There is a pad right there. Alright. Let's think about that a minute. There is a pad in there. What I did not do is mark where this came from. I think the pad's fine. Not exactly sure. See a little pad right there. Apparently that's just put a little bias. Let me put that over here. Let's not lose that. There. Oh, look. Look at there, guys. We have the basket. we have the bell housing, we'll call it that, I want to. We got the mounting plate, stainless steel of course, nothing but the best. And the output transformer hold down / cover. I'm gonna go give it a bath. See you in a little bit. Alrighty, I am back, boys and girls. I have taken the basket and the field coil housing and the output transformer housing and gave them a good old bath, warm bath, and palm olive, not palm olive, Dawn. Good enough to say the oil encrusted ducts and wildlife. Good enough for this Atwater Kent speaker. This thing's still a little on the damp side. I'll dry it off here. Because I know you guys just waiting to see somebody cleaning off and drying off a speaker with a shop towel. I know you guys are waiting all day and all night to see somebody clean or wipe water residue off of a speaker basket. I live for that myself. I love it. But hey, you know what though? It may be boring to some of you folks, but at the same time, if you're going to do this stuff, this is what you're going to have to do, and this is all kit parcel of it. So if you're not willing to invest the time to go through this little menial stuff, you don't need to be doing this. It is drying, and it is turning. I use Dawn dishwashing liquid because if it's good enough for my favorite coffee cup, it's good enough for this stuff. As I see this thing drying, I've noticed that it's already getting light. So, like I said a few minutes ago, this is a wrinkle coat. I will not be able to duplicate this wrinkle coat. So, banish the thought of me scraping this thing down or sanding this thing down and repainting it. Ain't no way I'm going to be able to duplicate this wrinkle coat. However, being it's all nice and clean, I'm going to mask this terminal board off right here, and I'm going to mask this medallion off right here. Once it dries, I'll let it dry real good. And I will probably take me a light coat of probably flat black and put on here. And that will look fine. If I put a light coat on here, it won't fill up the wrinkle coat. But I'll wash this as much as I'm going to. Now, the output transformer housing, it's just stained. That's really all it is. It's stained. Like this radio, what, 80 something years old, 83 I think. It's stained. It's had dust and whatever accumulated on it for, I know, at least my lifespan. And it just gets into this paint, guys, and it's just not going to make it look pretty. Matter of fact, the harsher cleaner you use, the whiter it's going to get. So I'm going to let this basket dry and this dry a little bit more, and I'm going to give it a little coat of little flat black. I need to dry that off. I'm going to let it air dry for a little while. Let me see, what else can we do? Here is the this right here. It's stained. This was the top, that was the bottom. I'm going to try a little steel wool on this. I'm going to spray it with some simple green and steel wool, and give it. I got some real fine steel wool, and just kind of scrub it down a little bit, and then we'll see what happens with this. Same thing with this right here, the stainless steel front support, speaker support. I believe this will clean up just fine with a little bit. Spray it, like I said, with simple green. Use the steel wool on it. I think this will come out perfect. The rear speaker support, it's got some rust pitting on it, as you can see, as well as this section right here. This looks like it's anodized. Look, it's got a little cadmium rust to it. Vinegar, we'll take that off. Take a vinegar and an acid brush. Clean this off first, of course. You can clean all the dirt and grit off of it. Then you go back in there with that little bit of vinegar in there and just let it set a minute. You'll be surprised what it does to this. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go take all this stuff and clean it. I'm going to max this piece off right here, and I'm going to spray paint, take it over to my other shop, spray paint it, and clean all this mess up, and hopefully I'll make a difference, and hopefully I can get the speaker back together. Alright, check you later. Wash the speaker out. It still was a little stained, it did a little dry, so I went ahead and gave it a little coat, very light coat of gloss black, because I didn't have any flat black. So it looks a lot better. I think one coat's enough. And the transformer cover, beautiful. Turned out really nice. I cleaned all the and I'll have to say something, and this is in addition to what I said earlier. This radio is stainless steel. Everything I said about it earlier is, I just didn't know what the heck I was talking about. Let's go wide. It is stainless steel. All the hardware, stainless steel. This anchor nut, stainless steel. All the screws associated with this is stainless steel. All the bracketry, this front bezel right here that holds the speaker to the chassis, stainless steel. The rear mount, stainless steel. Cleaned it the best it could. So the chassis is stainless steel, and I learned something about it too, and I may revisit the chassis. I just need to get a better tool than what I've got. Anyway, I'm at the point now where I'm getting ready to reassemble this. I think I've got enough replacement wire to replace this rotten rubber wire. I think I've got a yoke off a television that's got enough wire on it. I think. Hope. Anyway, when I pull this off, I don't know if you remember or not, but there's that one little fiber cushion that was right here. See if I can zoom you in there. Let's see. Let's move this bad boy. I'll show you the bell housing in a minute. Anyway, this one here, that was the only one in there. Pretty sure I didn't lose it. I lose a lot of stuff, including my mind, but I didn't lose this. It was only one in there. So I needed two more of those, and I didn't have anything. So my desoldering tool, my desoldering gun, this guy uses those filters. Perfect. I can always replace them. So I glued a couple of them. I use rubber cement to glue these in place. So now I have 3 cushions back in here like it was supposed to be. I could see the impressions of where they were, you know, back in the day. So apparently I guess somebody's been in here. I don't know, but I went back here and put some cushions in here, so I think we'll be good to go. So the next thing is put this bad boy back in here, and I'm gonna go find, hopefully I can find some rubber coated wire that'll rate it to 600 volts. Put this dude back together, so be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's move this out of the way for a moment. This is a deflection yoke out of a television. It's just one of them I've had in stock. I don't intend on working any more televisions. I've got one I've worked on and one I'm going to work on. But I don't intend on messing with those for a while. But I've got the size wire that I need, so I'm going to clip all of them but this red one. This red one is a high voltage rated wire. It's for there's a certain portion in here that I think connects on the horizontal output side. It has a little bit more potential than the rest of these, but this is enough flexible wire to get me by. And I think this is an 80-degree yoke. I've actually borrowed the back side that clips on here because it was intact and it had the centering magnets and everything on it. Ooh, I gotta widen that thing out. Ooh, lordy. Anyway, it's a good yoke. I just borrowed the back off of it. I bought it off eBay because I needed a couple of things off of it. So I don't intend on replacing any, but I'm going to hang on to it because you never know when I get a set through my door that I'll need one of these. But boy, that wire has come in handy. So now that I got the wire, we can proceed to attempting to put this thing back together. So, let's see. I cleaned this up with alcohol a little bit. I didn't really, ooh, yeah, I cleaned it up. Let me do that again. I didn't realize it was that dirty. Let's clean this plug up a little bit more. Just 80 years of grime and grit and just neglect, rats and bats and cats and dogs and everything living in this radio. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. I wiped this cloth cable down with some alcohol, and it did clean up a little bit. But you know, you gotta pick your battles, guys. It's like that chassis there. It's stainless steel and it's stained. Don't ever say stainless steel don't stain, because it's a misnomer. It will stain. Let me get all the valuable stuff out of the way here. So this guy here comes in here like that, so I want to put that back together. Let's see, I think it was like that. Yes, it was like that. That's natural. So let's see, do a little soldering. Get everything. I got my reference list here. I'm at 678 volts. I'm going to drop this down. That's volts. 678 watts. Or degrees, excuse me. Good Lord. I'm dropping it down because I don't need all that heat on this thing. So I'm going to re-tin this here, get some fresh solder on it. And I'm going to attempt to put this back on. Doing this without my glasses, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one that had a yellow wire. I don't have a yellow wire, so yellow is part of blue and green, right? So I've got to order some new wire. This radio is going to take probably, this radio is probably going to take about 25 foot of various different wires. I've been trying to size it and find some that's cheap. You know, nowadays everything is so hard to find. You know what? Before I get too carried away, and attach that to that coil, let's go ahead and strip it. If I do that without attaching that coil, it'll pull out of that coil, tear it up. You're gonna hear me cuss like you ain't never heard anybody cuss. It'll make a sailor blush. Beautiful. There. That's done. All I gotta do now is the humbucker, which is this guy. So I'm not going to bore you with that. Let me do my thing and I will come back. I said I'm going to show you something here. Zoom you in, just watch this. This is, excuse me. This is how rotten this stuff is. Watch this. Listen carefully. Listen to that. That insulation is that rotten. To get it off this enameled wire, I'm just taking my flat inside part of my little pliers here, and I'm just squeezing very lightly, not trying to be a hero, not trying to be macho. Just breaking it off. Of course I'm making a mess. Should have done this outside. Yep, I'm going to have to clean everything up now. Alright. I just thought you'd be interested in that. Look at the mess I've made. Lord have mercy. That's a mess. Bring it back. Back once again. Got the heat shrink on there. It looks really good. I went ahead and put one layer because this is already cloth covered, enameled. And it looked really good, so I just went one layer, a little small. What is it, 1/32? Let's see, 1/16. I used some 1/16 heat shrink. That's going to do fine. I don't foresee a problem. If it is, it will be my problem. Let's see, I was going to do, what was I going to do? Oh, it's getting time to put the, I'll clean this grid off right here. Looks kind of rough. Try not to delaminate this thing. See, that's the bottom side right there. I mean, you can't hardly tell anything but this was the top. The top was all the nasty stuff. Okay, where was I? Before I get off course again. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. This went on here like a that. Let's see. Black. I have to get my glasses on and read my writing. Oh, black the speaker, white output transformer. I couldn't read my own writing. It's funny, ain't it? So I guess at this point, you put the little protective shroud back over it. And then we get the bell housing, which cleaned up nicely. I think it cleaned up good enough to where I'm not going to worry about it. No, sir, not going to worry about it. If you'll excuse me, I'll grab this box of screws here. Alright, I'm taking glasses off. I don't need them. My eyesight has gotten to the point. Where I can't see with my glasses. I can't see without them. The doctor wants me to have. Asked if I wanted varifocals or Verilens. So that'd be nice, but it's just really, I don't know. It'd take a lot of getting used to. And us humans, we resist change a lot, don't we? Try very carefully. Get that started. I got to get one started so this thing don't come apart. And I have a feeling that this part here is going to give me some problems, because this is going to have to be centered. But I want to get it in here first. Just want to get it together. It doesn't want to go in. It wants to be a booty. It wants to be a boudier. What is wrong with this? Alright, I got to do a couple colorful men back. I finally got one to start. I had to have all my attention on this, because if I drop this is going to rip wires out of that transformer. Cats and dogs will start sleeping together and all this other mess, you know. There we go. This is not a big deal, getting this back aligned. If you've ever reconed a speaker before, really all you have to do is just find you some kind of plastic, or not. And I'll show you that when we get ready to do this. It's not going to take much to center this. You just got to make sure this is perfectly centered. That way when you put your voice coil or your cone and your voice coil back in, that it doesn't get all centered and drag and all that other foolishness. So I guess not going to tighten this very tight. That'll be the next thing after I get it wired, get the output transformer and all that wired back on it. This will, which is next. Let's go ahead and get the output transformer back together. Let me figure this out. Let's see. Green goes to speaker. And we just happen to have a green right here. Let's see. Very short. Let's go from one side of the transformer to the speaker, so no big deal there. That'd be on the secondary side, and I think that goes here. So, let me get my solder. Tin that lead a little bit. Alright. This will go to the speaker. And then I believe the solid black, which is this one, will go here. So here we go. I'm going to put just a little bit of freshen that up just a little bit. Give it some modern 20th century solder. Alright. Then we got the red wire. Should go, where was the speaker? Yeah, red wire. Go here. Line all this mess back up. Sure don't want to drop this and rip nothing apart. That would make for a very bad day. Okay, I got this green one here, which is substituted by, or it's supposed to be yellow, substituted by green. I gotta get it in the right spot. You kind of have to have, you gotta have arms of a 5-arm person to do this. Okay, so now I have a green and I have this white. So now it's time to put this cover back on. Make sure that ain't no bad guy there. Cover goes on. I think they call this black stuff fish paper. It's just an insulation. Here comes the cover. Newly repainted, I might add. Look at there. And if I was on top or on bottom. Let's see, I think these are probably the screws in. Am I missing something? I am. Right row. Missing a very vital component. This ain't good, Batman. Back in a minute. Okay. I'm at a point now. Do I want to repair the speaker? I think I want to put it back in. I just want to kind of clean it up a little bit. A little roach egg over there. Let's get something that might not damage this. Just using a plastic scraping tool. I'm very ginger with this thing. Ain't like I can put this thing in the sink. Let me very carefully walk over to the garbage can and knock this dirt out. I think I'm going to put this thing back together and then repair it. So, quite dirty. I'm just using a very soft brush, sweeping away from the voice coil down, trying to be very delicate. It's hard for me to do. I'm one of the world's biggest klutzes. I swear the older I get, the worse it gets. This area here is no man's land. Where these two leads come out of this voice coil. Get y'all a little bit better. Yeah. These two guys, you better treat them like they are nitroglycerin. They will cause you heartache. If these things break, you will not be happy. It's cleaning up pretty good so far. Like I said, you ain't gonna take this thing and put it in the dishwasher. You won't have nothing left. I'm going to pick it up very gingerly and use my air, hot air. I don't have any canned air, which I always forget to buy some. This voice coil, very dirty. I'm just brushing it, trying to knock some of the dirt loose. And we'll get me another brush, a little bit smaller head. Try to get something very soft, bristled. Something soft. And I'm just going to come in here. Basically, I'm just knocking it loose. Any grit, dirt, whatever, what have you. There, that's a lot better than it was. Now, something important I forgot to do. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Ooh, boy, I'm about to mess up, ain't I? I gotta tell my brain, that's right there. Hope I don't forget about it like I do. Anyway, let's have a look. Let me pull you over here. As you can see, it's not concentric anymore. It is, I need to adjust this. And once I get it adjusted, then I need to clean. Actually, I need to go take it to the air compressor and blow all the dirt out of it. So let me go do that. I need to make sure this is absolutely clean. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to cut some little plastic strips, and we're going to start wedging this thing to get it centered, and then tighten up these 4 bolts, these 4 screws and nuts, and get this thing anchored, and we can get this back in and get it put back together. So give me a little time. I'll be back. Right back. Okay. Anywhere you need some extra hands is right here. Well, at least I do. I'm kind of doing this by eye. think it's going to be fine. I'm just doing it by eye, guys. Technically, you're supposed to go in here when you're aligning this stuff and use shims. But if you can try, eyes trained, which I ain't saying I ain't no. I think you can get it close enough. Government work, as they say. You're really supposed to put shims in here to get it perfectly aligned. Just eyeballing it. I think it's pretty good. So, see what we can do to put this thing back together. The two leads that you see right there goes right here. This is where this output of the transformer goes to this little terminal strip, and this little terminal strip in turn connects to these two guys here. So very, very carefully we're going to put it in there. I do believe that's where it came from. Where do we go from here? Ooh. Well, I'm going to put these little retainers back on. And luckily this did not come off, which means I can line this up a little bit easier. Make sure I'm doing the right ones, because there's certain ones that's longer. So, you got short screws and you got long screws. Put it over here where I can see. Short screws doesn't have backup nuts on it, but the long screws do. And so I've got, so far I've got, let me see. Yep, I've got five short screws, and I got two long screws and two nuts, and then I got this longer screw and this bigger nut that goes in here. So this piece right here goes over here. What I don't remember is who got what. So I got to think about that. Bring you back one more time. Mystery solved. I couldn't figure out what this extra hardware was for until I realized it's part of the front bracket here. Once I figured that out, everything's cool. Since this thing was since I didn't move the shims around or the keepers around the edges, one of them out of three come off. but the other two were held in place, and I've got them back where they come from, or they're going back exactly how they come from. So I'm not worried about placement of the cone. Normally you don't tighten the cone down till you get it centered, but in this case I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much. I think I am missing a screw though, but I'll find it. That's not really a problem. What might be a problem, and I don't know. Love it. Is the speaker itself here. I don't know if this is right. I don't know quite how this mechanism works, but I think this is supposed to have a washer in it. There was one on one of these nuts that I cleaned off. And what's that for? And I just wiped it out. So I haven't. The next thing I got to do is glue this speaker up. And but it cleaned up pretty good. So what I want to do next, the next thing I want to do before I do anything else is I'm going to reconnect the two travelers under the bottom of the speaker here. Do them, connect those two back up, and then connect the transformer speakers. And then I'm going to apply a little bias voltage to this and a tone and see if I can hear audio. So let me do that. I'll bring it back. All right. The speaker is alive. You can hear it over the air conditioner. I'm put a little bit of bias voltage in it. And have a little bias voltage in it to energize the coil. And I'm running a tone from a signal generator into it, but it is making a tone. If you can hear it or not, making a tone. Yep, not anymore. Lead just fell off. It's working. Good. I wasn't sure about this centerpiece here, but that part's done. I just need to repair these holes, which I'll do that maybe tomorrow. But it is done. Put this back on. I think it goes this way. It is done. Voila. Let's see, unhook you there. Get it on gorilla mode, as I like to call it. That is a beautiful speaker. Of course, my paint wasn't quite cured earlier, and I got my big old fingerprint in it. But I just took a little alcohol swab, very lightly swabbed it, just lightly wiped it. See a little bit of paint come off, but so did the fingerprint. You can't even tell I even groped it. That is good enough for me. I'm missing one screw. I apparently lost one. I know exactly where it's at. I'm gonna go get it. But the speaker's done, and it works. I've just got to patch the front, which I'll do that. I gotta make a concoction. I gotta remember what the recipe is. But I'll put that on there and get that done, and I might give the front of the speaker a light coat of paint, and it will be done. So thank you guys for viewing, and please hit the like button and share if you can. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye. Well, greetings. The final push on the Atwater Kent 708 speaker rehabilitation repair part of this project. It's supposed to be a short video. It somehow wound up almost an hour and 20 minutes long, just about. I thought about going in and trimming it and all this kind of mess, and no, I'm not going to. This is documenting my repair of this radio, so it's going to stay just like it is. I know there's a couple antique radio restorer named Don. He condenses his down. I like the way he does his. It condenses his down in like 8-15 minutes at the most videos, and I really like that too. But he puts a lot of thought and time into it, and but that's why he has all day to do this stuff. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a regular job like most working folks, like, you know, or whatever that sounded, whatever that meant. But I have to work, of course. I took off early to come here and finish this video. Anyway, well, all that being said, it's time to patch the holes in this speaker and put this little project to bed. So let's, we're going to go gorilla here for a minute. Do some gorilla can here. Grab that. This is the speaker. It turned out really nice. It's got a nice little sheen to it. I cleaned this, like I said yesterday, or in the video that I recorded yesterday. I just cleaned all of this in the sink. After I took it all apart, I cleaned it all in the sink with some dishwashing liquid and all that. Cleaned it, and cleaned the basket, cleaned the shell. Got that clean, repainted it. I probably could use a little bit more. I didn't want to put too much paint on here because I didn't want to fill in this wrinkle cut. I don't know what it is. Every time I turn this camera on, I start hiccuping. It kind of annoys me a little bit. Anyway, I cleaned up the stainless steel everywhere best I could. I didn't repaint it. The only thing I repainted was just a light coat of gloss black. Put this whole thing back together, changed all the rotten wiring in it. Everything's put back together like it should. Let's see if I can grab this without a catastrophe. So this is what I want to work on today. I want to work on that hole and these little guys here. There's a million different ways to do it, and every time you ask somebody how to do it, they're going to tell you how they did it. But I'm going to tell you how I did do my speaker repairs. So I'm going to pause you for a second, so don't jar you too bad, putting you back on the tripod, and I'll get set up, and we're going to do some speaker patching, hunter style. All right. It's time to fix speaker. What I'm going to use is a little El Cheapo soft bristle camel hair brush for general cleaning. Coffee filters, my weapon of choice. And what I use is Elmer's no wrinkle rubber cement. I've used it before. I've never had a problem with it. Now, you can use whatever you want to. Other people will tell you other things. Back in my radio and TV days, about 40 years ago, believe it or not, they probably still make it, but GC Tools made made a glue just for speakers. I don't have any now. I've got this. What I want to use. Anyway, I have a soft bristle brush, cleaning the dust. I also have a very fine little brush. This is for applying the glue. A little artist brush. Again, a little cheapo. Coffee filters, which this is going to be the next thing we do. Let me get my notepads and everything out of the way. That's in the wrong spot. Okay. What we'll do first, get one of these here. We're doing this together, as Mr. Carlson likes to say. So I don't need none of this part here. I don't need none of that. I just need to get rid of all that so I can have I actually have a cloth. I actually have something that will match the color of the speaker. And I used it for the I used it for my basket case radio. I did not make a video of that. But I've got a radio that I rebuilt. Pretty bad. It was pretty rotted. Yeah, this will work just fine. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this down with the brush first. Clean it. Try not to tear it up any more than it is. And I brought a present home for myself. Lord knows what's about to happen here, but a little cleaning duster, Office Depot. Oh, I'm just going to kind of blow any residual dust that might be in the way. Alright, wouldn't do. Just open up the glue. Comes with this wand here, but I don't ever use that wand, not for this kind of stuff. I'm going to apply a light dose of cement right around the edge right here. Like it's taking it well. It's perfectly fine if you can get a little bit more where it don't need to be. I'm going to add just a little bit more to it. I want it to be well wet. I'm just going to take this right here. Hope I get it in there right. And then I'm going to take the same little brush, very lightly dab it on the sides. You can also use clear fingernail polish too, by the way, to repair this stuff. I need to get underneath that, but I'm just going to paint the edge right now. I'm just doing this part right here. Just painting the edge. Try not to be total wreck about that. I want full penetration of this glue to this repair material. Okay. I'm going to close this up a second. Turn this over where I can get to that little section inside there. It got damaged. Very carefully, and I can't really see what I'm doing. I need a little bit more light. In this back side of this thing, it's got a little tear out where my finger got a hold of it yesterday. Poked it out just a little bit. It was fairly intact till I got my big claws in it. But I'm just going to go on the back side of this and push it in just a little bit. Really need to stop there. I don't need to do anything else. Let me go gorilla with you guys a second again. I want to show you what this looks like. Let me wipe the glue off my hand so I don't glue the camera to myself. Oh, there it is. That is what it looks like from the back side. This is what it looks like from the front side. Let that glue set up, and that will be a fantastic repair. Zoom you guys back in just a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to try to be super gentle with this thing. I don't want to disturb what I just did. It's going to glue up nicely. You don't have to get real crazy with this stuff. You just have to be confident in your abilities. Like I said a few minutes ago, there's 100 different ways to do this. Or I'm from North Louisiana, and it probably shows in my way I speak, but I don't like the term hick. I mean, I will describe myself as a hick sometimes, but I'm not really a hick. It's just where I'm from. That's how folks talk. It's not that we're uneducated. If you must know a little bit about me, I come from a family who got broken up when I was in my early teens. Don't bother going into any explanation other than that. But I had to get out on my own and earn a living. But I got very interested in electronics from the drive-in that my parents worked at. Anyway, electronics was apparently my calling. For a while there, I taught myself, what electronics I could, and I was okay. But I went to Huey P. Long Vocational School in Winfield, Louisiana. And that's where I learned to become were trained in the art of radio, TV, and electronics. A very smart teacher taught me a lot. His name was Rogilia, Rogillio. He was my teacher. I finished a 4-year course. In 2 years. At the end of those 2 years, I had been through all the courses. Matter of fact, I was assisting my instructor with the other students. Yes, I can talk plainly. I can talk very articulate if I care to. But I don't choose to. I'm from Northeast Louisiana. I was born in Winfield, Louisiana, and I lived in Calvin, Louisiana, on a lake called Saline Lake. I was raised. We were very country, and I'm proud to be country. And yes, I talk country. I'm 60 years old. I'm tired of trying to conform to what the world thinks I need to be. You know, I'm more comfortable in my skin now than I was just a year ago. I'm applying the last of the patch here. And we're going to add a little bit. I'm wondering if I should have cut that off. Let me see if I can cut that off. I should have formed that a little better. Oh boy, this is just asking for trouble, guys. Pair of scissors next to an irreplaceable cone. That ain't gonna work. That's gotta come off. Gotta come off. I cut it the wrong way. I wasn't thinking about the edge. Not. What I can do is I can just turn this over. But I'm gonna put a little bit more glue. Well, anyway, what I was talking about is I'm from the country. I am from Winfield, Louisiana. We were kind of not the richest parish in the state. But I went to Calvin High School. I did not graduate. A lot of stuff was going on in my life. And school was not something I wanted to be a part of. So I dropped out. But I did get my GED. I did get training, technical training. I went to, like I said, Huey P. Long Vocational School of learn the art of radio, TV, and electronics. That has served me well over these years. I got a job at a radio and TV repair shop on Main Street called Allen's Radio and Television Service. I worked there, I think, about 8 years. 10 years. And then I got a job with Motorola, two-way communications in Alexandria, Louisiana. I worked there for another 10 years. I managed a shop for them in Natchitoches, Louisiana for a year. Then I went to work for Metrocall Wireless, or which was a paging company back in the day. Then from there I went, got laid off because paging become obsolete, so all us technicians got laid off. My job title was paging engineer, which is what I was. Then I went to work for a hospital for another 8 years or so. And let me back up. When I got laid off from Metrocall, I went to work for Time Warner for a year. That was the worst job I've ever had. I hated that place, and I still do. Then I went to work for a hospital in town here. Worked in the electronics telecommunications department for 10 years, and then I got a chance to go to work as a broadcast engineer for the radio people here in town. We have clusters in Monroe, we have a cluster in Vicksburg, we got a cluster in Dothan, we got a cluster in Meridian, and we also have a cluster, two clusters in Key West, which I take care of, Monroe, Vicksburg, and Key West. So if I sound like a hick, that's fine, but I'm pretty well paid, and I know how to take care of my equipment. So I do these videos because I like to work on this stuff, and I like documenting stuff. And hadn't made videos in a long time. I used to make and produce different kinds of videos, but I finally like this. I'm kind of got hooked on it. I'm finally learning this software and getting better at this. But one thing I guess I'm good at is running my mouth. Anyway, the speaker is repaired. It kind of reminds me of somebody that, you know, you see them when they shave, you know, and they put the toilet paper on them. But this speaker's finished. When this thing dries, I'll make sure it's secure and all that. Make sure it did adhere. Make sure everything's kosher with it. I got to soak this brush, take glue off of it. But the speaker's fixed. Speaker is 100% back with us. And let's see, let's get you in there, guys. I'll let this dry, and then what I'll probably do is I'll probably mask off the sides here, and I'll mask off the center portion here and give it one more little cleaning. And I'm going to put a light coat, if I can find it, I'm going to find a light coat of paint put on there. Honestly, it really shouldn't matter because you're not going to see this once I put it back in the radio, so I'm probably not going to paint it. Anyway, it is done. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope y'all can give me a like, give me some comments, and share this with me, or share this with me. Share this, you know, share this through friends and point them in that direction. If you're interested in the goings on of Atwater Kent 708, this is what you'll probably wind up having to go through the same thing I will. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you for listening to me talk. I do like to talk, which is you know, what would you rather? You know, this is a conversation that I have with you guys. I just, you know, if we were together, you know, as far as we were sitting around at a campfire or at a restaurant or whatever, eating lunch, you know, shooting the breeze, this is the same stuff we'd be talking about. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next round. Bye.